Good afternoon and welcome to All About Animals. I'm Sherry Graditor, and I have two guests today from an organization called Noah's Rest. I have Deana, Noonan, and Patty. I'm going to forget your last name, so you got to help me out.
Hanscom.
And first off, the big question is, what is Noah's Rest?
Well, before I answer that question for you, let me first say thank you for being here today and giving us the opportunity to introduce Noah's Rest. But I want to throw a couple statistics at you. Did you realize that 1 out of every 4 women will have been sexually abused and suffer domestic violence as they go through their life?
That's a frightening number.
It is. And of those, 48% of those people will not want to leave their home because they will have to leave a pet behind. And it gets worse. 71% of those victims will have witnessed, actually seen the abuser maim or kill their pet. And just to take it a little further from there, you can say that 32% of those victims will have reported that their children will have targeted their pets.
Wow.
So it goes down the line. And to even make you feel better about the whole thing, many times the abusers will end up targeting the pets of the children to abuse the children in some way, shape, or form and coerce them into being quiet about it, because if they're not, they will hurt their pet.
It's
so
amazing.
It perpetuates.
And
it just
very,
keeps
very
going
frightening.
on and on.
Very frightening.
So with that thought in mind, Noah's Rest. Our mission at Noah's Rest is to arrange safe temporary shelter for pets belonging to domestic abuse victims in order for that victim to make the choice to leave that abusive environment. So the concept for Noah's Rest started a number of years ago with a small group of women, including myself, and we were wondering what happened to the pets of well, she's upset. She's like, yes.
Yes.
So they were wondering, what happens to the pets of domestic abuse victims when they leave, because a couple of them would volunteer for a safe place. So it's a natural thought.
A safe place.
Yes.
The people don't know what a safe place is.
A safe place is the shelter for victims of domestic abuse, not just women. And it is a place for them to go. It's an agency in Waukegan. They serve Lake County. And they will provide counseling, shelter, training, just about anything to help.
Back in the working
yes,
world.
to get back in the working world, to help a victim and their family get back up on their feet and to become a survivor. That's what they do. And so what happened, unfortunately, was the small band. We all disbanded for various reasons. But my husband George and I thought this is definitely a cause that is worth pursuing. So in 2011, we got the paperwork going. And in December of 2012, we became officially Noah's Rest Incorporated. In June of 2014, we became a tax-exempt 501c3 organization.
Congratulations, that is a big deal.
Yes,
Exactly.
it was. There was
Yes.
a little happy dance done at that
I'm
time,
sure.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Well, first of all, before we get started even telling you the process, what's very important is this service is provided free to the pet owners. We do not ask for any money from them during this process. So what happens is during that time, there's a number of different ways that we can be reached. And you can call our direct line, or you can, through our website, you can email us. But we are contacted either by the victim themselves. They can call or, send us an email through the website, or we can be contacted by an agency, such as a Safe Place, the Lake County State's Attorney's Office, the Women and Children's Horizons Center, which is another shelter for women up in Kenosha. They will contact us. We want to find out as much as we can about the pet. So, for example, if a woman is leaving, how long does she have to get her pets out of the household? How many pets does she have? What kind of pets are they? We will provide shelter, arrange shelter for any type of pet. It can be a dog, it can be a cat, it can be a spider, it can be a reptile, it can be a goat, it can be a horse. We will find a safe place for that pet to be. So when we find out as much as we can, and including medical behavioral, any issues, anything we need to know. We then review the program with the owner. And what that means is, in addition to filling out as much paperwork and about knowledge on the pets, we also ask them to sign a temporary custody agreement. That is not signing the pet over to us forever. It is just a temporary period of time. Our standard holding time is 45 to 60 days. And it's not set in stone. Each case is different. It could be less, it could be a little more. It depends on the situation.
If somebody can find an alternative placement for their animal.
Exactly.
And take the burden off of you, that's great.
Right, and you know, we are just there. Our job is to give that person the opportunity and the courage to say, I'm leaving, to become that survivor. That's what we're there for, just to make that decision.
And take that one major worry off their heads.
Exactly.
Yes.
Take that concern away.
So when we receive the call, after we've gone through all the paperwork, whether it's with the agency, and if we do receive a call from a victim, we do ask if they are working with an agency. And we recommend, have you called the state's attorney's office, or have you called a woman's shelter or a safe place where they can provide counseling and help for you. We then decide on a safe place, daytime, location, a neutral location where we can transfer the pet. So when we do that, and it's kind of a mouthful to hear about, and it goes pretty smoothly, I would say. We've been doing very well with that. We've met at a police department. We've met at one of the shelters' parking lot. We've met in a hotel, parking lots, somewhere that's neutral. We never go to the victim's home. That we're not equipped to do.
No, that would not be safe for you.
Right.
No. And law enforcement knows about us. We're, out getting the word out to them. So, but they are all aware also that that is not our job to do that.
Absolutely.
So when we do pick up the pet, we do like for a third party to be there so that they can witness what's going on, just as a safety measure for everyone. We take a picture of the pet. We get the temporary custody agreement signed, and at that point, we do take the pet to a veterinary clinic. We are partnered with a number of vet clinics and pet care facilities in the surrounding area, and right away, the pet goes to the vet clinic to receive a baseline exam and the opportunity to just kind of be quiet for a little bit. We watch the vets hold them for a 24-hour period. During that time, they can see if there's any reaction to any of the shots, if they needed vaccinations. They can see if there's anything else that needs to be tended to, even fleas, ticks.
Sure.
Is there anything else we need to find out? The next day, Noah's Rest will come to the vet clinic and pick up the pet, and we will then take the pet to a pet care facility in the area. And that's actually where we're different. There are other organizations like us in the United States, in about 44 states. They have somewhat the same type of organization, but we do not use foster families. The other organizations will either take the pet and house them at a humane society, or they will use foster families. And what we decided was, with the trauma of a pet coming out of a household where it may have been physically abused, it's certainly been stressed and mentally abused with the tension and everything that's going on, that give the pet a chance to just be quiet. No expectations.
And not have to adjust to the lifestyle of somebody else's home.
No new rules, new family. And this has worked out very well. The pets that we've had in so far, they've all adjusted beautifully. The staff that's taken care of them, they don't push them. If they want to be left alone for a day or two, that's okay. If they want to come out and say, I want to be your friend, we are all there for it.
It's wonderful.
It is. It's working very nicely.
And it's amazing, very frankly, to me, that you underwrite the costs of a commercial boarding facility and a vet.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a small expense.
It is not. It's the baseline, actually, just going to the vet clinic in itself, the average cost is $100. And a month's stay at a pet care facility is $450. So,
like I said, it's not insignificant. And it
No.
certainly is even worse if someone has 2 dogs or 2 dogs and a cat, or 2 snakes, a rabbit, and a ferret.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, we do it all. We check on the pets, and then after the certain amount of time is up, when we're getting close to that 45-day period, that 60-day period, and we are always in contact with the organization, the shelter where the woman might be at, or the victim, and also with the victim, where we will send pictures, we will give texts or send emails. I do need to bring up, there is a huge confidentiality clause. The victim will not know where the pet is going. That is for the pet's safety, for the victim's safety, and in addition, the vet and the pet care facility do not know anything about the pets other than their first name and any medical information.
Yeah, and they don't know who the
need.
owners are.
No.
So that there's privacy maintained on both sides.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And so at the end of the time, the 45 to 60 days, or, if the victim finds alternative arrangements or has found housing before 45 days, that's fine. Again, we are just a temporary holding agency, so we can give the pet back at any time that they want. Now, if circumstances warrant that we need to keep the pet longer, maybe there have been illness or monetary issues that they haven't been able to find a place to live, we will keep the pet longer. It's all done on a case-by-case.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a cookie-cutter type of process.
Well, yeah, and the reason that I really wanted to do this show today was that there are so many people who don't know that you exist.
Yeah.
And if they go to an agency with whom you work, or I'm sure even agencies with whom you don't work will refer to you.
Yeah.
Because they'd be stupid not to. But for someone who's afraid to contact an agency, they have no way of knowing that this help is out here, and this help can make the difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, hey, I don't want another black eye.
Yeah.
It's, I may wind up dead.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. Or my kids may wind up hurt. And, I mean, the big reason we're out here is twofold. One, I think this is one of the neatest organizations I've ever heard of.
Thank you.
And I deal with lots of them. But two, for people who watch the show, if there's one person out there, just one, if there's one person out there that says, aha, I can be safe, then the show's done what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate your coming out.
Thank you.
We got a couple seconds left. We don't, but we're going to use them anyway. If you'll tell people how to reach you.
On the website, it's www.noahsrest.org. And our phone number is 847-764-6624.
And if you are making a wish list because of the way you work, it has to be financial donations.
It is.
And guys, they pay for everything. They don't take anything from the person who needs the service. So if you want to get involved with something that's really changing lives, this is an opportunity. Cash donations would be a wonderful thing.
There is a donation page on our website.
Beautiful.
That makes it quick and simple and easy to.
And we are now 100% out of time. So I'm
Okay.
going to take you to Save a Pet and show you some of the dogs and cats waiting there for adoption.